Hard to believe, isn't it? That a funny, cheerful guy like Trevor Noah could be going through serious mental health struggles. It's true what they say. Sometimes the brightest smiles hide the biggest battles.
But it is executive dysfunction. And so when I think of these things and when I've learned what they mean for myself, when I think of life and you talk about, I go, oh man, you think it's depression.
Trevor recently opened up about his mental health on the Diary of a CEO podcast with Steven Bartlett. Turns out, the comedian has been dealing with depression linked to his ADHD, something he didn't even realize he had until a few years ago. Imagine finding out you've been battling a condition your whole life without knowing it.
Paying attention thing was focusing on a recurring thought or a recurring idea that I couldn't let go of. And that's sometimes where the depression would kick in.
Trevor shared how his ADHD would make him either hyper-focused on the smallest random details or totally unfocused when it mattered most.
So I could be having a conversation with you here, and let's say there was a car outside revving its engine. At some point, that's all I'd be able to think about, even though you're speaking to me.
Anyone else feeling a little seen here? It wasn't until a friend was diagnosed with ADHD that Trevor recognized the signs in himself. His friend described these symptoms that hit way too close to home. Despite their different personalities, Trevor felt like he was hearing his own life story. So he decided to get checked out. And sure enough, the diagnosis was ADHD.
Where people think, and so did I when I was young, that ADHD is, this kid can't pay attention, when in fact what it means is you are unable to control what you pay attention to.
Trevor even recalled his school days, where teachers thought he had hyperactivity, what they used to call ADHD back then. He said his mom took him to a psychiatrist when he was little, but he'd long forgotten about it. And now, looking back, it all started making sense.
And my mom, the therapist was like, oh, your son is, has ADHD or is hyperactive. And so you must stay away from these foods and you must do this and you must do that and you could give him treatment. And my mom was like, we'll pray for him. Let's keep it moving.
When Steven asked him how ADHD tied into his depression, Trevor explained this zoom effect he experiences.
If you zoom out too wide, you can't see the object. If you zoom in too much, you also can't see the object. You've got to find the right zoom so that you know, okay, we're now looking at a cup.
Trevor said he'd get stuck in his own mind, zooming in on thoughts that would trap him in a loop, feeling like life lost its meaning. It's tough stuff for anyone to go through.
And then it affects how they feel in certain situations, which then affects.
But sharing these insights isn't just therapy for Trevor. It's a reminder to all of us that sometimes the things we don't talk about are the things that need our attention the most. So next time you see that bright smile, remember that everyone's dealing with something. And even the happiest faces have a story to tell. And speaking of stories, his love life has had its fair share of ups and downs. So, let's dive into Trevor's romantic adventures, starting with his first high-profile relationship. Trevor's first high-profile relationship was with Dany Gabriel, a successful SA-based physiotherapist and musician. Rumor has it the former pair had known each other for like 4 years before they started dating. Then, in early 2014, love blossomed, and they quickly became smitten with each other. By this time, Trevor had already cemented himself as Mizansi's favorite funny guy. He was booking comedy shows and skits around the globe. He also started making his debut on The Daily Show as a recurring contributor. That's why he and Dany got to travel the world together. She was by his side as he toured and made his impression on international turfs. These two were so cute together. Dany and Trevor weren't shy to show off their love for each other. They often took adorable pictures together, like selfies with funny faces or photos of the places they visited. Trevor also bought a home in Cape Town to be closer to his love. Did someone say couple goals? There were even rumors that the two got engaged. But, it seems the comedy limelight brought both love and heartbreak for Trevor. In mid-2015, he got offered the gig of a lifetime, hosting The Daily Show in the US of A. But that meant leaving behind his South African BA, who had her own thriving physiotherapy practice back home. Long distance just didn't work out for these lovebirds. But hey, no hard feelings here. Dany showed her support for Trevor's big move on Twitter, saying, "I knew you had it in you, and they saw it too. Now the world gets to share it. Couldn't be prouder. Aw, ain't that sweet? No bad blood, just a loving farewell. Life moves on." And so, Noah set off on his journey to become one of the highest-paid talk show hosts of his time. That brings us to relationship number 2. Shortly after moving to New York City, the comedian met former singer and model Jordyn Taylor. They met at one of Trevor's comedy gigs, but that's all we know about the meet-cute. After being friends for some time, they started dating. Jordyn even moved from California to the Big Apple just to be with her boyfriend. How cute. These two were red carpet royalty, and boy, did they make heads turn at the 2018 MTV Movie Awards. Their love story seemed like a fairy tale, and fans couldn't help but ship them to the moon and back. The rose-colored glasses shattered in 2018 when tabloids reported about their split. Jordyn confirmed the news in January of the next year. A fan asked about the breakup, to which she replied, "Of course I love him. How could you not love him? I love him so much, but you guys should know we broke up this past summer, but yeah, I love him. Till now, we don't know why they broke up. But from Trevor's previous experience, it could have been because of his work. Noah always put himself and his career first. He once told a story about an ex-girlfriend from before his fame. He admitted that this ex tried to stop him from going into comedy. When Noah first expressed interest in the career change, she said, "You're not that funny. Don't be stupid." Harsh. He was young and in love, so Trevor agreed and held off. Then, after they broke up, he thought it would be the perfect time to do everything he couldn't do when he was with her, like date other girls and do comedy. So that's what Trevor did. While becoming a world-renowned comedian, Noah got to know some of the most beautiful women who also appreciate his sense of humor, like Minka Kelly. She's an American actress that you might know from shows like Euphoria and Titans. In August 2020, the pair got to know each other and started dating. A month after the romance was confirmed, the actress was spotted taking some luggage to Trevor's New York City apartment. Insiders told tabloids that even though it was early stages, Trevor and Minka were serious about their relationship. So much so that in December of that year, Noah bought a $27.5 million Bel Air mansion for him and Kelly to live in. After purchasing the estate, rumors started that Trevor would finally settle down with Minka. An anonymous source shared, "They're making plans for a future together, and it's a very stable relationship." But real Trevor Noah fans took that information with a pinch of salt. We know how our boy feels about romance and marriage. He's not one to rush into things. It's not that Trevor is against marriage and commitment. He just thinks that couples shouldn't live together even if they are married.
I think one of the biggest reasons people get divorced is because of this cohabiting bullshit that we've come to believe is the way relationships are supposed to be.
That said, Noah wouldn't have just bought the mansion for a relationship. He has a habit of buying properties, renovating them, and selling them at a markup. That's exactly what he did with this Bel Air home. By October 2021, he had it listed on the market for around $30 million. Besides, by May of 2021, he and Minka had broken up. The A-listers kept the details of the breakup private, but when we all found out about it, they were both vacationing it up. No heartbreak, just vibes. Minka enjoyed a trip to Mexico, while Trevor spent some time soaking up the Miami sun. Their first breakup didn't last long. In the same month, they reunited and took a trip to St. Bart's. The Caribbean island is known for its white sand beaches and designer shops like Louis Vuitton and Dior. Why? Because luxury goods are tax-free there, so if you want designer at lower prices, you know where to go. Some trip advisors estimate that a week in St. Bart's could cost around $8,000 for a couple, if you budget wisely. Who knows how much a famous actress and the highest-paid talk show host of his time spent on their getaway? The luxury vacation seemed to mend things between Trevor and Minka. They were on again, and news spread that they were working on their relationship. They were also spotted walking dogs and looking cute all the time. At this point, we started second-guessing what Trevor said about living with someone you're romancing. They even went Instagram official for the 2022 New Year. Listen, that was a big deal for a guy who was trying to keep his love life on the down low, especially after his past high-profile dating experiences. But sadly, Trevor and Minka broke up again. And this time, it was, and we quote, official. At the time, tabloids claimed he was too focused on work and didn't have enough time for a relationship. Well, he was preparing to leave The Daily Show, and his next adventure would be touring the world with his comedy shows again. It makes sense that Trevor couldn't have a long-distance romance for so long. Even though it seemed Noah put in the grind to make this relationship work, he left Minka with no regrets and little heartbreak. A few months later, he went on the rebound. Fans went wild when they first saw pics of him cozying up with pop sensation Dua Lipa. But that was just a one-time thing, an indication that Noah is Mr. Moving On. But what about now? Since then, Trevor's been a free bird, enjoying the single life and touring the world with his hilarious jokes. Will he reignite that spark with Minka when the time is right? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Are they destined to be together?